The red-headed hex girl looked around once again and saw nothing. Although it seemed odd, the calmlessness of their whited-out world surroundings was somewhat of a relief compared to the insanity of the previous nonsensical universe. How was that the right choice, Thorn? Luna teased. That is not what I was expecting, Thorn admitted, still looking very disoriented. I suppose the logical is the next choice. Let's try the other door, Gus suggested. I don't know if I want to, Luna felt nervous. What if the other door is worse than whatever this weird Jeff universe was? Well, what's our other option? Thorn asked. Luna quickly found the question was the theoretical one. Stay in nothingness? Go back to our universe and get killed by Bridget, Nia, and Sam? The only thing we could do is just go back into that other universe. And do what? Luna questioned. Do we have a plan? Bridget's plan was to find her mother and sister. Perhaps we could find them first and convince them to stay in their own universe, Gus suggested. I like the idea, Thorn said. What if Bridget's mother and sister are evil than her? Luna felt a rush of panic through her veins. It's a chance we'll have to take, Thorn sighed. How are you so calm about this? Luna questioned. Well, it's not like we could come up with much of a plan. We have to at least try, though. We can't let our friend be killed by Bridget, Thorn said. I'm ready to go through the door. Are you ready? Luna then took a deep breath, inhaled, and stayed silent for a moment. After a brief silence, she exhaled. Ultimately, no matter how terrifying this was, she knew that Thorn was right. This was the only way. Yes, the red-haired finally spoke. As I am, Gus stated. All right, then here I go. Thorn took a deep breath as she walked through the door and disappeared. Gus was next to follow. Luna didn't know what horrible dangers might lie ahead, although the door on the left, but regardless, she knew that she had to do anything impossible to save Dusk. Luna fixated on the thought to give her bravery into the next universe, and followed her friend's footsteps. This universe looked a lot less normal than the previous one. Perhaps that was a good thing. The last one's normalness turned out to be more insane than Thorn could have ever imagined. Luna, Thorn, and Gus found themselves in the middle of a field. It appeared to be in somewhat of a park. Green grass and beautiful blossoming trees were all around. A small lake appeared to be within a miles of walking distance of where they were currently. However, there was one particularly about it. Despite that, there was only a mile away from the beautiful greenery-covered park. The lake was completely frozen over, surrounded by snow. I've heard of localized weather, but this is ridiculous, Gus remarked. Wait, is that the park Bridget was talking about? Thorn wondered out loud. The one she wanted to spend time at home with her mother? Bridget! A female's voice howled away, sending a chill down Thorn's spine. The eeriness of the voice almost sounded like it could be a trick of the wind. Thorn knew that the wind couldn't talk, so it had to be a person, right? Should we see what that is? Thorn shuddered. I prefer not, thanks, Luna said. It's probably just the wind. But where should we start then? Gus inquired. Bridget! The voice called again, almost sounding as if it was asking a question. As much as I hate to say this, I think our best bet is following that voice, Thorn admitted. We have no other sense of direction or idea of where to go. I believe Thorn's right, Gus said. What do you think, Luna? Yeah, Luna cautiously said. I guess nothing makes sense in these parallel universes, so we might as well follow the one thing that does. It sounded like it came from that frozen lake. Thorn replied, leading the others down that direction. Despite her confident demeanor, she was incredibly terrified of what the voice might do. Was it some demon calling to help Bridget help find her mom and sister? Oh gosh, I really don't want to go down there, Luna whimpered. We have to, Luna. For dusk, Gus reminded. Okay, the redhead meekly said. For dusk. Thorn, Luna, and Dusk continued to follow the mysterious hollowing voice, which growled occasionally to say Bridget's name. That's all it ever did. Although, once they walked about a mile, a beautiful summer day quickly turned that into a frigid winter. Several inches of snow made the ground around their feet quite slippery. Ugh, I can't take this universe manifest coats or something, It's freezing, Luna complained. I'd rather much be in the cold than have something else horrible happen in this weird universe, so I'll take the cold, Thorn replied. Yeah, me too. I was complaining about something else to distract me from what I was actually scared of, Luna admitted. Bridget! The voice howled again in the wind. This time it would sound significantly louder than it had before. And what would it be? Luna giggled nervously. I think we're getting closer, Gus observed. Much closer. I think I could see who's doing it. Luna pointed over towards the frozen river. There were two shadowy figures standing at the very edge of the river, near a large snowbank. You're right, Thorn said. We've got to go over and see who it is. Bridget! The voice became icy as frozen lake as they nearly approached. I think we'll have to physically walk on the lake to see who it is, Thorn stated, realizing they could go no further on land. I'm scared, Luna whispered. What if I fall through? You don't have to be scared, Luna. I promise I'll protect you. Thorn hoped that she was doing a good job here being brave, the protective one. She certainly didn't feel brave inside, even though if Thorn was to be honest with herself. She felt incredibly small and like a terrified little girl, who she was only leading the others that she had no idea what in the hell she was doing. Nonetheless, she had to persevere and be strong for others. Even if she didn't feel like she was going to survive doing this, she cared so much about Luna and Gus that she would do anything to make them feel safe and secure. Thorn was the first to take a step on the frozen lake. The ice looked thick, which assured Thorn that she wasn't going to fall through. She just had to make sure to be careful as to not trip on the smooth, icy, glassy ice. We've got to be incredibly careful. This ice is so treacherous that one misstep could most likely cause you to fall. If you think having the wind knock you out is that bad, just imagine how horrible it would be if you were knocked unconscious in this parallel universe, Gus warned. Thorn made sure to watch her steps carefully as she moved closer to the figures on the other side of the ice. It looked as if a long track across the lake, so she would have to be extremely careful with her steps as to not trip or worse, slip and fall through the ice. Although it probably looked incredibly silly, Thorn proceeded to shovel her feet like a penguin across the ice. Gus seemed to follow her lead while Luna continued to take tiny steps. All three of them made across the ice together when all of a sudden Luna took a step in the wrong direction. Damn! Luna cried out in panic. Thorn knew that Luna never swore for any reason, so the simple act of doing so let the black-haired Goth knew something was terribly wrong. I've got you, Luna, Thorn shouted. She disregarded the idea of being careful and went to protective mode. She wrapped her arms around Luna just to catch her as she was about to stumble to the ground. Thank you, Luna panted. Thorn was so glad that Luna was close behind her. Otherwise, she would have either fallen and hit her head on the ice, or even worse, being knocked unconscious. The three girls had nearly got to the other side of the river now, the figures looming over closer. They all turned their backs to Thorn, Luna, and Gus. Come closer, distant travelers, the taller individual said in a gentle voice. As they got nearer, Thorn could make out some physical features of the figures. The taller individual was the one who spoke to them, had light brown hair, wore a blue coat and brown pants. The other individual stood distinctively shorter height than the other person. She appeared to be around 5 feet tall. Her brunette hair was tied up neatly in a bun, and wore a tie-dye colored sweatshirt. Luna just gave Thorn an uncertain look, as if to say, can we trust them? Thorn hesitated for a moment, and then nodded for a brief pause. Gus, Luna, and Thorn quickly and slowly moved closer to the figures, who had ghostly transparency to them. The light-brown one spoke and turned around. She looked to be a sweet, kind, motherly figure, which confirmed Thorn's guess it was Bridget's mother. Is Bridget with you? The woman softly inquired. Clearly, Gus did not have the same guess as Thorn. His jaw dropped for a moment. You must be Bridget's mother, Gus exclaimed. Indeed, the woman said. Thorn had been expecting Bridget's mom to be some sort of evil-looking hag, or perhaps a large Godzilla-like monster. She simply did look like a kindly old lady who might bake you a batch of cookies. My name is Sophia. The brunette spun around as well. Hi, I'm Bridget's sister, Marissa. Nice to meet you both, Thorn smiled. And to answer your earlier question, no, she's not with us, Foreign was worried that it was going to come out of Sophia's mouth next. It was probably a large lines of, take me to Bridget so I could rule the world with her. Good, Sophia smiled. Foreign wasn't sure whatever to be confused or worried. Did that mean Bridget's mother was more worse and evil than Bridget? I have seen into your world, and I'm aware of what Bridget has done and intends to do, Sophia continued. I am quite sorry that she has done to you. Her intentions come from a place hatred and malice, which as her mother I cannot condone. What? Luna stuttered. You mean you don't support Bridget? Why do all these things if she was playing if she didn't know you go along with it? Honestly, this would sound weird, but I don't think she thought about it. Bridget didn't know about it, Marisa responded. I believe Bridget is so blind and hurt by the rage that has made her assumption I would automatically support her. Or share her feelings, Sophia added. Marisa and I died shortly after Bridget was born, so she knows very little about us. I'm glad she know to see how harmful your daughter's actions might have been, Gus chimed in. I don't know if I'll be able to forgive myself for leading these girls for months. I know it's difficult, but the fault is completely on Bridget, Sophia assured. She's only brought to you all for fame because the spell to open the portal is required to make these people's dreams come true. Sophia's words hit Foreign hard. That meant Bridget's entire manipulation was only giving them what they most wanted. This wasn't exactly a twisted version of Foreign's fantasy, like they believe. Dusk's sudden narcissistic behavior, Luna being unhappy touring, and the huge fight with Dusk and Luna was real. It would have happened regardless if they had risen in fame, legitimate means or not. You mean she's only give us exactly what we wanted? Luna gasped. Yes, all she did was manipulate the charts and Gus into signing you. The rest happened on its own, Sophia confirmed. Ford needed a moment to process this. Did that really mean they have all done those for fans? Or did the artificial charts success brainwash people into liking their music? So if you believe everything she's doing is wrong, how could we stop Bridget? Foreign asked. We don't have powers like her. Well, I mean, I'm 1/16th Wiccan on my mother's side, but I haven't tapped my powers nearly as much as her yet. Marisa and I will come back with you, Sophia responded. However, we cannot do this in this form. What do you mean? Luna inquired. Unfortunately, we must possess the bodies of you two to be able to come across to the other realm, Sophia clarified. I am very sorry about that, and I'll let you choose amongst yourselves of how you want to handle this. I'll do it, Gus quickly spoke up, with a brave face. I've led you on these for 3 months. At least I can do is make this sacrifice for you. You don't owe us anything, Gus. It isn't your fault. Bridget forced you to, Foreign assured. I know, but I still feel bad for being more selfless. I knew what I was doing, and I could have chosen to let them torture me into preventing you all from getting involved in this awful situation. I'm doing this, Foreign. End of conversation, Gus replied. His tone was very urgent and serious. He was usually somewhat of a lighthearted whimsical, so Gus's incredibly serious tone took her aback a bit, even if it wasn't the appropriate response of the situation. We have one volunteer, Sophia stated. Who would you like to be the other? I'll do it, Luna volunteered. I feel kind of bad about almost ruining your guys' dream. Why is everyone doing this because they feel guilty? Foreign questioned. I could do it. Besides, Luna, it's not like you who made up this in your dream. You thought touring was just as you wanted to do, but maybe you realize it isn't. My point still stands, though. That ruins your guys' dreams, Luna said. Besides, someone's gonna do it, and it's either you or me. Foreign honestly didn't know what her dream was anymore. She liked the idea of the band making it big and touring around the country, but she most certainly didn't want this to happen, especially not at the expense of one of her friends' happiness. After a long period of silence, Foreign took a deep inhale and closed her eyes before beginning to open them again. Okay, if you really want, you guys can be the ones to be possessed. It won't be long after to hurt them, right, Sophia? No, it will only take a few hours of the energy of being possessed by a magical being to take a toll of the mortal body, Sophia confirmed. Good, so they'll be safe then? Foreign asked. Just wanted to make extra sure. Despite that she did not tell the others not to feel bad about something beyond their control. The black-haired goth felt bad about not telling Dusk and Luna about Bridget and Sam and Nia. She knew that she felt very silly to announce the guilt about the situation was far out of their control, but her anxious mind attempted to convince her that maybe if she had, Dusk wouldn't be trapped with Bridget, Nia, and Sam, who could be doing God knows what to her at this very moment. Yes, they will be very safe. However, we must hurry, Sophia warned. Mortals can't survive more than a few hours in the realm of being departed. Oh dear, I don't know how quite time this works in this universe, but I fear we nearly exceed our time here, Gus said. It's best we better get back to the portal. While everyone began walking back up the hill towards the sunny side of the park, several nagging thoughts still linger at the front of Thorn's mind. She wanted to ask questions, though she never exactly had a conversation with a power-departed being before that she didn't want to offend her. Is it okay if I ask a question, Sophia? Thorn inquired. Ask as many questions you may like, Sally, Sophia replied. This caught Thorn off guard. She hadn't remembered telling Sophia or Marisa her stage name. She certainly didn't even told them her birth name. How do you know my name? Thorn asked with a look of surprise. Yes, I watch over my daughter in the moral realm regularly, and I have seen some of her actions in the past months. Thus I have gotten to know you as well, Sophia smiled. All of the words were said in a very formal way. But, however, though, there was still a very motherly warmth in her voice with everything she said. Okay, Thorn wasn't really sure of what else to reply with. It wasn't every day someone told you they already know you months before you even met them. She proceeded to asking her question. Is this park Bridget was talking to you about? The one that you and Marisa used to sit in? It is, Sophia answered. When mortals open to this portal, the surroundings you see are very representation of what they have constructed in their mind to relate to the departed person they seek. So this is a representation of something in our minds? Luna inquired. Not exactly, Marisa jumped in. The surroundings are constructed by a person who opened the portal, which is Bridget. One of the most prominent memories of us that had in their minds is that park. However, with all the hatred and anger she gets faced here with the moment of mine of our breaths, and even our deaths, the memory of the park was clouded by darkness. So that's why the pond you two were standing in was covered in ice and snow? Bridget put together about it? Thorn then put it together in her mind. Exactly. Marisa's face lit up upon seeing that Thorn made a connection. Although Bridget loves us, but she let her coldness without her losing memory, leaving us in a state of forever winter in mind. Thorn found Marisa's explanation extremely poetic. It made her even more curious and gave her a strong desire to ask another question. Is it okay if I ask another one? Thorn said, trying not to come off as over too excited. Of course, Sophia warmly replied, as they began to approach the other end of the icy pond. So if Bridget didn't manipulate anything other than the charts and Gus, our fame was real? Thorn asked, feeling very excited to know and find out the answer. Were all the fans we had real, or were they just influenced by the act of our song and album we're charting? I'm afraid that's not a question I'm able to answer, Sophia replied. Thorn's heart felt a little hurt. Although she presumed Sophia didn't mean to hurt her, she felt shut down as she was told that she could ask another one. Why not? She finally mustered out. I cannot predict how things would have worked out in alternate scenarios. I can only see what's happened. And I do not know how to separate Bridget's manipulative actions from your band becoming famous. Because the fame would result in Bridget's actions, Sophia exclaimed. Her voice is still warm and motherly desperate disappointment, and that her answer had brought. This is something you will have to decide for yourself, knowing the extent of Bridget's manipulation. Part of Thorn felt like she didn't need to know the answer. Marisa seemed a little bit less formal and more personal to Thorn than the previous question, so she wanted to lean on Marisa to see if she would give a different answer. However, she didn't want to act as if she didn't respect Sophia's answer, so she did a shift and swift gaze over in Marisa's eyes. I'm sorry, Thorn, I don't know either, Marisa informed, with sympathy present. in her voice. I'm sure you and the band will come up with an amazing way to figure this out and make the sense of all of you. Thanks. That's really sweet, Thorn smiled. We are approaching the portal, Sophia informed, as the girls and Gus came closer to the spot where she came to the universe. For us to go back to the room doors, the possession needs to take place. Are you both prepared? Yeah, I'm not exactly the one who knows how to prepare for a possession, but I suppose I'm ready as I could be, Gus joked. Yeah, I'm pretty good, Luna said, seemingly quite on edge. I'm ready too, I guess. All right then, let the possession commence, Sophia announced. As she transparted her body, they changed to a luminescent burst of energy. The ball of energy rapidly shrunk as it moved towards Gus. Thorn expected the energy to knock him down, or somehow enter his body instead, but his whole body lit up as the energy consumed him. The possession has been completed, Sophia said in Gus's voice. Thorn was a bit wigged out by this. Alright, it's my turn. I'm sorry about this, Luna, Marisa apologized, as her body transformed into a legitimation of ball of bright light, lit up Luna's body. Hi, it's Marisa now, Luna said. It's Luna, but Marisa is speaking for her. Are you ready to go in the portal? It was a very bizarre concept to Thorn that they were actually 4 people that she was traveling with, but only 2 of them were physically present and conscious. It was even odder that the 2 people were physically present, and the ones who weren't conclude didn't align. She was waiting for the other 2 to respond, but she realized that she had to be the one, besides Marisa and Sophie, who could respond. I guess so the others can't respond anymore? So I'm ready, Thorn chuckled nervously, as she walked through the portal, quickly arrived back in the room of doors, as Sophia called it. We need to go back through this final portal to get back to your realm, Sophia informed, as she, or rather Gus, walked through the last portal. Marisa and Luna were quick to follow. Thorn didn't know what would have happened once she got back to the world, but she had a lot of faith in Sophia and Marisa. Both of them seemed to be incredibly knowledgeable in the realms and Bridget, so all she could do was hope things would turn out alright, and that Dusk would be okay. However, that didn't help the black-haired Hex girl would be any less worried. Thorn closed her eyes, dreading the worst, as she stepped in the portal one final time to get back to her world. When Thorn popped back out from the other side of the portal, she saw an unsightly view. Bridget, Nia, and Sam had tied up Dusk, although it felt horrible, as Dusk was being put through this. She was frankly just thankful that her blonde friend was still alive. It appeared that they had wrapped the ropes from the stage curtains on her wrist and tied a piece of black cloth around her mouth. A closer glimpse of Thorn and the cloth appeared to be a part of their band logo on it. Ah, the traitors returned, Bridget hissed in a sinister voice. Is that the band t-shirt in Dusk's mouth? Thorn asked. Yeah, there wasn't any tape, so we had to improvise. Sam shrugged. Shit, the portal's closing, Bridget exclaimed. Well, we could do this ritual again, right? As long as we've given them their wish, Nia inquired of Bridget. No need, Sophia spoke from Gus's mouth. They've already brought me back. Bridget's jaw dropped at first, followed by a smile slowly creeping across her face. The smile wasn't creepy or disturbing as Bridget's facial expression often when Thorn had seen the pink-haired girl excite at the past. This seemed like pure joy. Mother? Bridget said, her voice almost squealing with excitement. Yes, Bridget, it is I, Sophia said. Mom! Bridget ran up and gave Gus's body a gigantic squeeze. Thorn expected to go through with a reasonable period this time, but Bridget clung on tight. I've waited so my life to meet you. Don't forget me, Marisa said from Luna's body. What's so special about you? Bridget snapped as she kept hugging her mother and Gus's body. Oh, nothing much. I'm just your sister, that's all. Luna's voice chuckled. Marisa? Bridget gasped. Oh my god! She quickly let go of Gus's body afterwards after a few more hugging, then went over to embrace her sister. Maybe you girls aren't traitors after all. You brought everything you could have wanted, Bridget exclaimed. Thank you, thank you, thank you! It was bizarre to see Bridget acting so excited in the way that it wasn't fake or creepy. She never really had seen invulnerability hidden within Bridget's sadistic personality. It was great seeing you again, Bridget, Marisa said to her sister. It is so great seeing you too. I love you so much. I love you too, Mom, Bridget exclaimed. I've got so many things I want to do for the both of us. But first, don't worry. We're going to avenge your deaths together. We're going to gather a large group of supporters, wipe out the goddamn churches in Oakhaven, and then we'll expand the wipeout of all churches and religions in the world except Wicca. Bridget, we cannot wipe out that origin, Sophia scolded. Well, maybe we won't be able to do it right away, but we'll do it eventually. Just you wait. I am going to make you proud, Mom, Bridget exclaimed. Wicca is not a violent religion, Bridget, Sophia firmly said. Aw, come on, Mom. We've got to make some revenge on those punny mortals, right? Maybe after we're done, we could sit in the park together, get some ice cream, and possibly catch up on everything that you and Marisa have missed all these years, Bridget suggested. It seemed like Thorn was liking Bridget's reverting back to a state of childhood whimsy, but probably just to make up for everything she's always wanted to do in her childhood, but missed out because her mother and sister's absence. Bridget, no! Sophia shouted. I will not complain of your revenge of plans of carnage. There will be no revenge taken from my death. Marisa and my deaths were a true tragedy, but over the years, I've come to realize that it's just an account of a human produce. We do not punish everyone for the actions of one person. My friend has seen her justice, and no one else should suffer from your wrath. You have also been manipulating these girls for the past few months, which is absolutely horrible. You should be terrified of how you become, Bridget. A healthy, sane person does not knowingly manipulate others just for months of achieved personal satisfaction. It was right then that Bridget did something Thorn would never expect to happen. She started to cry. This was not a psychotic cry, or Bridget faking being cute seemed creepy. These were real tears. Thorn thought Bridget was so tough and strong that she could not even make her emotionally effective to this level, which it made it more evident to Thorn that this was something that hurt her on a deep psychological level, more than anything in the world. Bridget wanted was her mother's approval, and not getting her to cause her to break down. No, why would you say these awful things to me? Bridget spoke between tears. I love you, Mom. I love you. Do you hear me? Nothing bad would happen if we just love each other. I love you too, Bridget, but behavior like this cannot be tolerated. Your actions towards these girls and many others have truly been horrible, Sophia said, a hint of sorrow in her voice. A mother cannot condone such atrocities. Bridget continued to sob to the point of being unable to compose herself. How could all this happen? This is all I have ever wanted, Bridget sniffled, the waterworks continuing to flow. All of a sudden, the tears stopped almost completely. Wait, I get it. I know what happened, Bridget said. Thorn was quite confused. By the looks of it, even Nia and Sam were confused. You bitches tricked her? Bridget snapped, pointing at Thorn, Dusk, and tied up Luna. This has to be it. My mother would never see these things because you've tricked her. Thorn was confused for a moment, unsure of why Bridget would think this. After many seconds of pondering, the black-haired hex girl just made the most terrifying revelations of all. Bridget wasn't even psychologically confused in a way she had so many times before. Bridget was clinging onto the idea of ruining the world with her mother so tightly that she refused to let go of that thought. No one tricked us, Bridget. We just don't agree with what you're doing, Marisa kindly clarified. No, you wouldn't say that. Those bitches tricked you. I knew it, Bridget shouted. Bridge, calm down, Sam reasoned. Thorn always thought Bridget was an evil, delusional monster, so it was so to hear Sam call Bridget such an affectionate nickname. They didn't even know we were manipulating them for all these months, and they wouldn't even know how to trick your mom and sister into turning against you in a couple hours. Yes, they would. There's no way my mother would say any of these things. Isn't that right, Thorn? You played some sort of mind trick on her, didn't you? It's probably because Luna and Gus are pretending to be them. Maybe Gus just has a voice monocular or something, Bridget presumed. We're not tricking you, Bridget. We went into the alternate reality and found your real mother and sister. Didn't manipulate them at all, Thorn assured. Besides, how would we even know their names? Lies. All lies. I'm sick and tired of your lying, Bridget snapped. My mother and sister love me, and we're going to be together forever. This isn't a trick, Bridget. I've been watching you, Nia and Sam, of what you've been doing all those months, Sophia informed. She's telling the truth, Thorne interjected, as she saw the craziness build in Bridget's eyes. Stop lying to me, or I'll have to kill you, Bridget screamed. That's right. I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you. Bridget, calm down. It's going to be okay, Marisa assured. I'm your sister, and I love you very much. And the way it's going to be, your mother loves you too. I love you too, but if you love me, why wouldn't you help me avenge on these deaths? It's not like you guys were punished by your deaths. It's punished me too. Because look at you all away from me, Bridget argued. I know, sis, Marisa said, a lot of empathy in her voice. It's horrible and it's unfair that it took us away from you. And I'm sorry, but we can't take it out on innocent people, right?